Hey everyone, welcome back to Reclaim Your Pleasure. I'm Crystal Centinello, your certified trauma-informed boundaries and empowerment coach for recovering people pleasers. Today, we're talking about something I know many of you wrestle with, caring way too much about what other people think. Spoiler alert, it's not helping you. It's exhausting. And today, we're going to talk about how to let that go because who needs the stress? Now, you know I am not one to preach without sharing a little personal story. Yours truly stayed in an emotionally abusive marriage way longer than I needed to. And if you've read Diadem, Crowning of a Lioness, I think you kind of figured that out. But why did I stay in it? Well, because deep down, I had this overwhelming fear of abandonment. I was so terrified of being alone, and probably after all of the years of gaslighting, that I convinced myself that being in a toxic relationship was better than risking rejection, that I wasn't good enough, that no one else could ever possibly love me. And spoiler alert, staying in that relationship, being afraid of being abandoned, wasn't any better than just walking away. Being a people pleaser was not the answer. Now, I know many of you are dealing with the same thing. Hopefully not an abusive relationship, but maybe you're stuck in situations, relationships, or even jobs that just feel draining, and you're so afraid of being abandoned or not being liked. Now, like I said, I've been there. So let's get into it. What actually is this fear of abandonment that we're all battling? It's that voice that's inside that says, if I don't make sure everyone's happy, I'm going to be left behind. And I'm not sure that I can handle that. Does that sound familiar? If so, don't worry, I see you. This fear is why we cling to approval like it's the golden ticket. To what exactly? Happiness? Acceptance? I mean, it's just more anxiety. But where does the fear come from? For a lot of us, it starts in childhood. Maybe you had a parent who only gave you love when you acted a certain way. Or maybe you got the message that being good meant quiet, compliant, or never rocking the boat. So we grow up thinking that to be loved, we need to keep everyone else happy, often at the expense of our own peace. Now, I want to share one of my favorite metaphors from Don Miguel Ruiz's book called The Mastery of Love. He talks about this concept of the magical love kitchen. Picture this. You've got this amazing kitchen inside of you, stocked with all the love, happiness, and joy you need. You're self-sufficient. You're whipping up delicious meals of self-worth every day. In fact, you have so much that you can even feed other people off of it. People want to come to your kitchen because you have so much self-love and self-worth. But then here comes the pizza guy. He knocks on your door and he says, "Hey, I've got pizza, but I'll only give it to you if you let me control your life." Now, if your magical kitchen is full, you're like, "No thanks, I got a feast in here." In fact, you can even come and have some. But if your kitchen is empty, if you're lacking self-love or confidence, you let the pizza guy in, thinking he's your only source of nourishment. Suddenly, you're trading your power, your happiness, and your boundaries from some soggy slices of approval. And listen, we've all had a pizza guy in our lives at some point, whether it's a toxic partner, family members who expect you to cater to their every whim, or even social media where we chase likes and validation. But here's the truth. That magical kitchen inside of you, you've always had it. You just have to start filling it up yourself instead of relying on these pizza guys to bring you crumbs of approval. Now, this is where I want to get real for a minute. A huge turning point for me was meeting my now husband. When I met him, I had already been stepping into my power. I was setting boundaries, I was letting my big personality shine, and I braced for him to react the way past partners had. You know the drill. Shrink me down, get upset, try to clip my wings. At one point, I had made a mistake and I literally curled up into the fetal position. Now, he never actually did any of those things at all. Instead, he applauded me. When I succeeded, he was my biggest cheerleader. He still is. And sometimes when I'm in full crystal mode, and let me admit it, sometimes plow him completely over and go a little crazy. He doesn't get angry. He laughs. He's like, babe, I love your fire. Okay, crazy. He calls me crazy in a loving way, I promise. But that's what it looks like when someone sees you in all of your glory and loves you for it. There's no shrinking required. So you don't have to stay in a relationship that's toxic, at a job that's toxic, because you think that someone's going to leave you and there's going to be no one else out there for you. You can shine. You can let your freak flag fly. And you're still going to have somebody who loves you and supports you and sees you for who you are. And I want you to remind you of this. The people who genuinely care about you outside of relationships. Think about friends, other people that have stuck around for years. They don't need you to shrink. They don't need you to hustle for their validation or tiptoe around their feelings. The right people, the ones worth keeping around, they love you as you are. They celebrate your wins, your personality, your quirks, and even those moments when you accidentally bulldoze them with your awesome. Before we sign off, I want to leave you with an actionable step for this week. Let's take a baby step toward building that self-love, confidence, and worthiness I've been talking about. It's a simple yet powerful exercise. I call it the self-acknowledgement journal. Here's what I want you to do. Grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, computer, whatever works for you. If you want something private, make that work. Each day, take 5 minutes to write down one thing you did that made you proud. One thing from that day specifically. It could be anything. Maybe you set a boundary. Maybe you took time for yourself. Maybe you watched a hummingbird, okay? And you just took a moment to be present. Maybe you spoke up in a meeting, or you even said no when you didn't want to do something. The goal is to start acknowledging your worth and giving yourself credit for the small wins. You'll be surprised how quickly this small habit can shift your mindset from seeking approval externally to feeling confident and proud of who you are without needing validation from others. So that's your homework. Write down one thing each day that shows how you are capable, strong, and deserving of love. Trust me, it adds up. If today's episode hit home for you and you're ready to do the work of reclaiming your life from people-pleasing and fear of abandonment, I'm here to help. If you want more steps for letting go of approval, head over to crystalsentinello.com/resources. Again, crystalsentinello.com/resources, where you can grab my letting go of approval cheat sheet, as well as other resources on my membership page. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Complete Coaching with Crystal, or drop me a DM or book a consultation. We can work together on filling that kitchen of yours with love, boundaries, and so much self-worth you won't even hear the pizza man knocking. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and remember, you're already enough. You don't need anyone else's approval to be the amazing person you are. Until next time, keep shining, keep setting those boundaries, and maybe tell the pizza man to find another house. Catch you in the next episode.